Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name's Laura and today I'm going to be sharing with you my top 10 tips on how to progress your career fast. Everything that I am sharing with you today are things that I have done personally to progress in my career as quickly and successfully as possible. So I hope that they help you along your journey as well. I have always been an incredibly ambitious person. And not always to my success, but back from, the days of school where I really wanted to do well in certain subjects and applied myself, and all the way through into kind of starting my professional career. My first job when I came out of university, I was working for Harrods, which is a luxury department store that some of you may know. I was just so excited to work for a company like that, and I took a 3-month temporary position just to get my feet in the door, and from there literally hustled to get myself a permanent position and into a team and an area of the business that I really wanted to work for, that I was incredibly passionate about, which was e-commerce. I knew as soon as I started working at Harrods and starting off my career journey that I wanted to better myself. I wanted to progress up that ladder as quickly and efficiently as possible, and ultimately get myself higher up on the salary scale, which I know is a huge ambition driver for a lot of people out there. As soon as I started working at Harrods and starting my career journey, I knew that I wanted to progress as quickly and efficiently as possible. I wanted to build on those skill sets that I needed to learn. I wanted to get that experience that will help me get to the next level. And applying these tips that I'm going to share with you today are things that I have applied throughout my entire career journey, and I believe this is how I have been successful. So I hope from watching this video, you will be able to take away even just one tip that is something that you are not applying to your day-to-day life in order to drive your career progression. And I hope that it helps you on your journey too. Number 1, set yourself clear goals. If you're not clear on where you're aiming for or where you want to get to, it's going to be really hard for you to be successful. In my personal experience, I have found splitting these goals out into short-term and long-term views are the easiest way to approach this. For short-term goals, you want to be focusing on things that are building up your skill set in the now in order to get you to that next level, to progress to that next step. Let's say, for example, your Excel skills are not up to scratch or not to the level that you need them to be in order to get to that next position. How can you approach this? There's loads of resource out there available to you. You just need to go out and utilize it. You could go on a course. You could watch YouTube videos. There are some amazing content on YouTube on Excel courses. Or the third option as well is utilize your network around you. There will be colleagues and people that you work with that I'm sure would be more than happy to help you. You just have to be confident and ask them. For the long-term goals, this is kind of looking more towards, where do I want to be in 2 to 3 years' time? Where do I want to be in 5 years' time? What are those overarching, broader things that I need to be focusing on in order to get them? And then breaking down how you're going to get to those things. So let's say, for example, my long-term goal is I want to be a head of department. I want to push myself and I want to lead and inspire a team. What are those key things that I need to be focusing on to get myself there? Then what I do is I write down all of those key aspects that will contribute to that long-term or short-term goal. And then I set myself timeframes on how I'm going to achieve them and when. This holds me accountable and makes sure that I don't give myself any slack. I have found this to be really helpful and useful, and I hope that maybe you will too. Number 2, continuously learn and develop. The world that we work and live in is changing at a faster rate than we have ever known previously before. Particularly in a world that we live in now, the technological advancements from the last 5 years are absolutely exponential, and that is going to continue into the next 5, 10, 20 years. And there are going to be things that we need to know in order to continue to be at the top of that level and be competing with the best people out there. So, what do I think are some of the key ways in which you can continue to develop and learn? For me personally, I have found attending webinars, reading up on topics, watching YouTube videos have all been incredibly effective. But really for me, the most important thing that I've ever utilised is my network. Working with my colleagues, listening to them, talking to them, asking them questions, particularly ones that have already been through what I am going through, leaning on them in order to develop and learn and become a sponge essentially to their knowledge. That for me has been the most successful thing. And off of the back of that, you're building amazing networks as well that you can potentially leverage in the future. Following on from that, number 3 is building a strong network. Building a strong and substantial network is so important if you want to progress in your career. This might be attending networking events, utilising LinkedIn, talking to people, meeting new people. These are the things that you need to be doing in order to build out that network. The old saying of it's not what you know, it's who you know, actually does end up becoming quite important as you move through your career. Particularly as you progress through your career, your network can help you hugely. Throughout my career, I have worked with the same people again and again at different companies at different times. Honestly, most industries that people work in are pretty small, so it is likely you're going to end up coming across those people at another time on a different path. And it's so important to utilise those networks, as well as also not burning bridges, because those people remember and people talk. Number 4, seek feedback. If you can be the person that learns to embrace feedback, seek it out, learn from it, grow from it, then you will do amazingly. Feedback makes a lot of people uncomfortable. Even on the other side, some people don't feel comfortable giving feedback because they feel it's awkward or they don't want to upset someone. But it is so important in order to grow as a person, providing it's obviously constructive. I would really encourage you to push your line manager or even go off of your own back and ask for feedback where possible from varying team members, people that you work with of different levels, to give you a really rounded view. And then from that, you can take some really actionable points that you can document and work on yourself. And that is a great way for you to develop. Number 5, communicate effectively. This sounds quite straightforward, really, because we all talk to one another, we all know how to communicate with one another. But really, if you want to be progressing, you need to understand how you can communicate with people more effectively, identifying the sort of person you're talking to and how to get the best out of that person by reading body language, reading signals, and adjusting your behaviour in order to get the best out of them. It's important that you understand that you will talk to different people of different levels in different manners in order to get the best out of them. Let's say you have an update of some kind that you need to share with various members of the team, and one of those members is your direct line report. For them, you might need to be so much more detailed, explain in a lot more, educate them on elements that they may not be clear on, and give them more time in order to make sure they fully understand it. Then on the other hand, you may have a director who at a very senior level just needs to know the 1 to 2 sentences that gives them the entire story, and they can take that as a little nugget with them and understand completely what the situation is. If you can adapt the way that you communicate the same information to varying levels and varying people, you will be on the path to success. Number 6, take on challenging projects. This is a great way to build on your experience and your expertise, as well as also building on your profile within your current company. It's actually something that I'm going through at the moment within my company, funnily enough. And I am on a mission to really try and build my profile within our executive board suite. That is part of my objectives with my manager, and I am so excited to get stuck into that. And part of the way that I am actually doing that is working on additional projects that give me that exposure to that senior level, which I'm very excited about. So if you can take on any kind of project, any additional task that in the long run is actually really going to better you, then 100% throw yourself in the ring. Number 7, develop your leadership skills. Now, leadership is a very broad term. It is something that, depending on the person that you talk to, you can hear a very different answer. And that is exactly it. A leadership style is very personal to you, and how you find it is really by trial and error. So I'm sure your next question is going to be, well, how do I find out my leadership style? And the answer to that is trial and error. Really, you need to be putting yourself in positions where you are leading people, managing projects, and seeing what works and what doesn't. You will obviously learn from your successes, of course, but you will definitely learn more from your mistakes, and you will have a lot of mistakes. But honestly, in my opinion, Probably the toughest part of progressing and developing and getting to a more senior level position is actually the management aspect of it. Managing people is incredibly challenging. Every single person is an individual. They work in different ways, they think in different ways, and you have to adjust your management skills in order to get the best out of them. And I'll talk through my key management tips in a future video. Number 8, be proactive. The world is competitive. The professional world is competitive. If you want to be the one that's getting that golden carrot, then you need to be driving it yourself. No one's going to hand it to you. For every one job, there are 10, 20, maybe even 100 other people that want it as well. So you need to be that person that's taking the initiative to develop, learn, push yourself in order to get to that better place. Be the person that is a solution driver, not a problem maker, and you will have success. Number 9, adapt to change. Change is hard. I know it's hard. And it's never something someone particularly wants to do or go through. But ultimately, you will always be better off from embracing that change and empowering that change. Whether it's you learning something new about yourself, whether it's you being able to push yourself further so you can actually develop the skills that you need in order to progress in your career. It is something that is so powerful and something that so many people avoid where possible. Be that person that embraces change and you will do so well in both your personal and professional life. And finally, number 10, maintain a healthy work-life balance. We can all get consumed by our work at one time or another, but it is so important for you to prioritise your personal time, your mental well-being, your self-care. Because if you don't look after yourself at home, then how on earth do you expect to be able to do all of these amazing things at work? They both go hand in hand. And if you're able to take care of yourself, prioritise those important things to you, you'll set yourself up for success. Some of the points I've gone through today may seem quite straightforward and simple, but honestly, there are so many people out there that aren't embracing them and integrating them into their day-to-day life. And trust me, even if you incorporate 2 to 3 of these into your current way of working, you will see benefit, I promise. I really hope you enjoyed watching this video. Please like and comment underneath if there's anything else that you want to see from me or any feedback as well. I'm also pretty new to this, so happy to have any feedback. As I say, seek feedback in life. I want to get better and I want to do better. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you next time. Bye.